team is their offense. And the one problem that we're really having that we have not had for as long as I've been a Blue Jays fan is hitting the home run.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the 450 Dead Center channel. Chris here with Daniel on that side.
Hello.
Of me. Yeah, and
Hello.
Jays are currently at 2-3 to start the year, right? Or 2-4. 2-4, sorry, to start the year. Not the best. Oh no, it's 2-3, isn't it? I think it's 2-3.
I'm just double checking, but I'm pretty sure it's 2-3 because we only had 5 games.
Yeah, so it has to be 2-3. The pitching has been pretty bad. The batting has been pretty bad, minus the first game, and then minus Gosman and Kikuchi. But we just want to talk about like what the Jays should like improve on, or are they bad, or whatever. All those kind of things that we should talk about in the first week of the season that really doesn't end up mattering by the end of the year. But yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's basically, Chris, to sum it up for him, we're giving our initial thoughts on what the Jays team looks like this year. Seeing them in action for 5 games, we have a pretty decent idea how this team's going to work. And we'll go from there. I mean, and by the way, I did look. It is 2-3. Just to
I just confirm. I was going to replay 6 games.
Yeah, no, today's the 6th game. But yeah, I mean, first thing through the first, I guess 5 games that I've noticed, Chris, is the defensive improvements, especially in the outfield. And I think you've noticed this too. And we've talked a little bit about it on our socials. Yeah. If you guys are not following, make sure you follow our Instagrams and Twitters, as well as the YouTube channel. We're always giving Jay's thoughts during the game. But one thing I really noticed, especially in that first game, was the ability of the new defenders in the outfield to go get a ball.
Yeah, it's been great. Also, like, the way they can just track one, the way they can throw it home. Like we saw with Varsho yesterday, absolutely hosing a guy out at the plate. Granted, Gurriel he used to throw out guys, but, like, there were some balls he just never would have got to. And you just notice that from Varsho and Kiermaier, and now even George Springer in right field. They're getting to a lot of baseballs, which is something I like to see.
And it seems like their 4th outfielder this year. Yeah, they have Nathan Lucas on the team, but it looks like Whit Merrifield's going to be the 4th outfielder. And yesterday, which is Tuesday, he made a fantastic catch in the outfield. A really go-get-me ball.
He did.
And if he's going to be the 4th outfielder, I feel pretty confident with this outfield.
I do too. And then you have other guys like Biggio and, like you said, Nathan Lucas, who also can play outfield, which I doubt they'll play outfield a lot. But just say for that day you want to DH George Springer, and you put somebody else in the outfield, and yeah, it works. Like, they'll just be right field or left field. It's nothing crazy.
Exactly. The depth is really, really important for this team. And I think obviously we've noticed that the defense has been really big. Kiermaier's kind of a staple in center field. It's kind of ridiculous how good he is, because he makes George Springer look so terrible in center field. Now watching Kiermaier play center.
Yeah, so you know what's funny about that? In terms of defensive WAR, Kiermaier's already at a .4, which is that's pretty solid already.
And I mean, nothing against Teoscar and Lourdes, but like those moves had to be made, I think. And even just watching some of Varsho's routes to the ball and some of Kiermaier's routes to the ball, like, yeah, maybe Teoscar and Lourdes would have got them, but they're not going to get themselves in a throwing position to hold a runner at second or to even throw a guy out at home, right?
Yeah, and there's actually a few guys already on the team that have been pretty solid. Like Varsho, he's got just a basically 0 defensive WAR right now, so nothing crazy. Kiermaier, like I said, he's got a .4. Where's Springer? He's not on the list, but he's probably pretty high up there as well, like just roughly around 0. It's been like a week, so yeah, it's good to see so far though that Kiermaier's already making a big difference.
And I'll just piggyback off your thought there, Chris. Besides the defense, the big thing I've noticed about the change in this team is their offense. And the one problem that we're really having that we have not had for as long as I've been a Blue Jays fan is hitting the home run.
Yeah, we've hit, 2 home runs this year, including yesterday's game. But before that, it was just Bo Bichette in the 9th inning of Kansas City. But before that, there was no home runs in the first 3 games. Basically no home runs through 4 games, pretty much. Which is crazy.
Now they did face a very good team. Let's say the Cardinals are a very, very good team.
They are
to start the season. But still, you would have thought at least one would have gone out, especially in that crazy high-scoring opening game. But no, a lot of their runs that they're scoring are, a walk or a single, and then it's like a first to third on a single, right? I love the new aggressive base running. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's fantastic so far, and we see that the base running guys, like even Vlad, he's been a good base runner this year. Dalton Varsho, we saw him drop a solid bunt down yesterday. It was beautiful. Kevin Kiermaier going like first to third on a little bloop single from George Springer on opening day was amazing. It's just the little things, but the little things really add up over time.
I think this style of offense makes this team more sustainable for the playoff run.
I think
Because
so
we
as well.
saw, and we've, I don't know if we talked about this on the channel, but I know I've talked about it with you, that 2015 team. Oh no, it was probably the best Jays team that we've seen in recent history. Definitely the best Jays team I've seen in my lifetime. And everyone says that, yeah, they should have won to the World Series, they should have won the World Series, but like really not, because they lived and died by the long ball, and they ran to really good pitching, and they couldn't hit any home runs, and then they couldn't do any, I guess, smart baseball, like, sack flies and that.
They never bunted. They never sack fly. They
Exactly.
never did any of those things. All they did was get a guy on base, maybe, and then hit a home run. That's all they did.
Exactly. That's all. Or they're hitting a triple, right? There was no situational baseball. And this Jays team, their situational baseball is through the roof. I want to point out, on opening day, it was a bloop single. I think it was runners second and third, and Varsh was at second, and he took off right away because he knew that ball was going to drop the score. If that's last year's team, they're not scoring that extra run. We're only scoring one on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And
even,
that's the stuff that makes a difference.
yeah, and that's all the good stuff that we've been talking about. And a few real notable players. Matt Chapman, he has a 307 WRC plus right now, leading the league with batting average. Absolutely insane. He's almost already at a 1 WAR, and this is Fangraphs WAR, so it's a lot lower than like Baseball Reference WAR. Bichette, he's hitting like 375. He's doing pretty solid. Vladdy, he's doing okay. Varsho's doing all right. But then there's some other guys. Espinal's struggling just a little bit, but he's been in 2 games. Danny Jansen's sort of struggling. Witt struggling a little. But I think they'll come around. But let's talk about the negatives, because there have been quite a few negatives to start the season. And once again, the batting lineup. They struggled against the minus opening day. They struggled against what's his name, Jack Flaherty, who walked like 10 guys. I don't know how we can leave 10, like how do you walk 10 guys, get no hits basically through 7 innings, and then just lose? Like, it's weird.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just that game, but I'm pretty sure other games too. They've left quite a bit of guys in the scoring position.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it is early still, right? So pitching's always going to be ahead of the hitting. But just easy sack flies and that. I mean, like I said, they have gone a lot better, and we just talked about a whole, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes about how great their situational baseball hitting is. But there has been a tendency for them just not to deliver in runners in scoring position, and if this team's going to go for the World Series, we got to start scoring these runners in scoring position. And I want to add on to it, Chris. Another thing that I've noticed, it's not really a negative, it's just different, and I don't really care about it if it's positive or negative. It's just that there's less gimmicks on this team, if that's the best way to put it.
By that, you mean like the no home run jacket?
The no
right?
home run jacket, the no shopping cart in the dugout or whatever it was, the no seeds getting dumped on after a home run or a run scored.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's all credit to Don Mattingly, and I think it's the whole attitude of, I believe. It's, we haven't earned anything yet. Let's earn some stuff, and then we can start doing it.
Yeah, that's fair as well. And to go back to the left on base thing, a lot of it, I have to say, was Brandon Belt. Like, I think there was 2 times in that Flaherty game where he left bases loaded, just struck out and just left him like that. So, yeah, it happens. And I know Brandon Belt didn't get the spring training he really wanted to because he was injured. But, I mean, just at least put it in play, right? Like, just don't strike out pretty much. But let's take a look at the pitching, because that's been like sort of the bad spot right
Main
now,
focus.
I guess you could say. It's been bad. Minus Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman was good. Romano, actually, the last 2 games he's been in. He's been like 3 up, 3 down. He's been really good as well. And Kikuchi was good as well. But Barrios, bad first inning. Tim Mesa's been a little shaky, though he did have a good outing yesterday. Anthony Bass was meh. But Chris Bassett, though, he was bad. He was terrible.
I think it goes back to this whole pitch comp thing. I saw Bassett was calling his own pitches. And that's cool, but when you have 30 seconds or whatever it is, 45 seconds pitch clock, and you have 8 different pitches to pick from, like, I feel like that's just too much thinking for the pitcher. I don't know if that's your opinion. But
no, I think so as well. And, I mean, I don't know why in general pitchers are really calling their games. I've always been the guy that says the catchers should call their games. That's really what the catchers are there for, besides catching the ball and stuff. Like, usually like pitchers, they have to think before they throw, and then they're like, okay, I know I'm throwing a fastball now, and then they throw it, and then maybe their like focus is off. But if the catcher just puts a 2 down, that means like curveball or something. You just don't
Yeah.
have to think about what you're throwing. You just get the grip, and then you go.
And as long as, I mean, like let's be real, it is hard to hit a Major League Baseball. Not everyone can do it. Like if you
No.
give me 100 swings against a Major League pitcher, I might make contact with one, maybe,
Yeah, around that.
maybe, and that's being generous.
And if
But
it's a fastball, maybe. But like,
yeah,
if it's a
I'm talking
curve,
like 100 mile per hour fastball.
oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
probably not even catching
Like
up to that.
maybe make contact with one.
Yeah.
But it is a hard thing to do, and the fact that the Cardinals were on 6 out of his 8 pitches, it makes me think he was tipping pitches. Maybe that could be something,
He
and I
could
think
have
that's
been.
maybe part of he knows he's doing the pitch com. He knows he's throwing something. He could be giving away something in his delivery.
Yeah,
It could also be a thing of him just rushing because of the pitch clock because he has to think so much.
I think it's more that one. Like, if you have 9 pitches and you only have 30 seconds to cycle through like
Yeah.
9 different pitches, that could be an issue. And obviously, maybe now after his first game, he's going to sit down with Danny Jansen or whoever his catcher was and discuss like, hey, in this like a 2-1 count with this type of batter up, maybe we want to throw this pitch. So maybe they'll be on the same page more. But once again, it's the first outing of the season, so I'm not going to take too much out of it. But I
No,
would like it to be
exactly.
better.
Exactly. One thing I do want to notice about though, and I don't like the to me this is a negative, and it's really like we've talked about the bullpen this offseason.
Yeah.
We've talked about how much the bullpen has improved. But at the same time, I still feel like the bullpen is really, really weak. Like in tight ball games, in the 8th, 7th, 8th, we don't have a guy really I can trust. Right? Like I trust Romano for the 9th.
Swanson, maybe?
Swanson, yeah, but I mean, it's not. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a star. Like if you look at all the great bullpens, okay, I'll use the like the 2016 or not even. I'll use the Astros bullpen from last year, right? Their 7th was or the 7th or 8th was Rafael Montero, who was elite last year as just getting guys out.
Yep.
And then their 9th was Ryan Presley. They had a nice 1-2 combo.
Yeah, and
And I just don't see that in the Jays yet. I see Romano, and I see like if there's an area to address, it is the bullpen. I think.
yeah, and like we were saying before the season was starting, like Chad Green will come in around the deadline time, and he could be that guy. But right now, we have to rely on Eric Swanson, who I do believe in. Jimmy Garcia's been a little shaky, but once again, still sort of
He's
believe in
old.
him.
He's getting up there in age.
He is
right?
getting up
That's-
there. Yeah.
And besides those two, like I don't trust Tim Meza in the 7th or 8th. I'm
No.
sorry, Tim.
Nope. I don't.
I don't trust Simber. I don't trust
It
Richard.
depends. I don't mind Simber, but I don't think he's a consistent 8th inning guy. Maybe Zach Pop can get there. He's been pretty solid so far. He's got actually not
Even
really.
then, I wouldn't
but-
trust Zach Pop. Like to me, we're missing a 7th and 8th guy, and this is early. It's early. Who knows? By the deadline, we could acquire like freaking Edwin Diaz or something, whatever. But yeah, just early on, I don't see a guy in the pen. I thought it was gonna be Nate Pearson. I thought they were gonna bring Nate Pearson up, use him in short term.
Give him a little bit of
But-
time. Give him time.
Seems like he's gonna start in the minors.
That's fair. That's fair. So, yeah, those are just our sort of concerns for the Jays so far. I do think, obviously, it will get better. It's literally the 5th game of the year. The 6th game is going to be tonight against Kansas City. We got Manoah versus, I don't know, some other guy on the mound. Let us know what you guys think about our opinions on the Jays so far. If you think it's bad, if you think it's good, let us know in the comments section.
Let us
down
know what
below.
you guys think about the Jays so far. I want to hear some comments of people about what you think the Jays could address or what else they're doing good at.
Exactly. And with that being said, everybody, see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.